think you know what the topic is about. Today the topic is what kind of communication coaching is required for executives. That's the topic what Sandhya is going to explain us. As she has been training many executives and many leaders, and she has created many entrepreneurs, and she's the right person to answer this question. Yes, my dear, go ahead.
Brilliant. So your question is what kind of communication coaching does
Yeah,
normally
because now you previous just previous question, you said what are the challenges leaders
hmm,
are facing. So
hmm,
now I'm sure they're going to be an executive, or they may be an executive now,
yeah.
but they don't have the proper communication. Maybe it could be vocabs or maybe the attitude, narrative. So let's hear from you what you would say for that.
Yeah, perfect. So I'm going to take a step back, Anuradha, and just kind of clarify the training bit and the communication coaching bit, because that also seems to be a lot of misconstrued information around on the internet around it. So communication training for people who are into that field already, and I'm sure most of you who are listeners here know what communication training is. It's divided into many sections. You may get into business communication only as a professor, or you're only training or basically teaching students business communication. That's also communication training. You may be getting into verbal and non-verbal or written forms of communication. So that could be the basic presentation skills that you're training a lot of leaders, managers, first-time managers on. So the things that we work on, the functional skills of communication is what I'm talking about. So it could be accent, it could be language, it could be English, it could be just basic your interactions, your how do you initiate a conversation. Those are trainings which is a functional skill of communication, which ensures that you have the basic skill set to actually communicate and use any language to communicate effectively. That's the training bit of it. Now coaching becomes slightly different. It gets slightly more innate, and it's more a journey from your inner to outer. And let me explain that. Now, when I say inner to outer, today, when I'm sitting here in this platform with Anuradha, before I jumped into the session, I may be having an inner dialogue that I am not sure what she's going to ask, and I'm not sure how I answer that. That's my inner dialogue. It has got nothing to do with my communication skills. I may be trained to be a great presenter. I may be trained to talk on these interviews and panel discussions, but my fear, my barrier that when I'm on the screen, I really don't look great. I don't know why people will believe me. These are imposter syndromes, right? There are many things like that. So even for leaders and people like us, when we have our teams or when we start working, we will all have these kind of barriers and blockages or limitations, and it's fine. It's fine because sometimes those inner dialogues are happening because of situations that we faced in life, or because of criticism that we've received from schools, college, or friends, peers, colleagues, sometimes bullying. And we also may have received some kind of criticism, which we call constructive criticism in the corporate world, but we must have got it in a 360-degree review from your managers. And that may have impeded your growth because you felt after the review that you were not good enough. And it's fine because that's what has been happening in the corporate world, and that's what has been happening in schools and colleges. We've all been through that. Now, if that is something which has been with me for years, every time I'm in front of a camera or every time I'm given a new challenge of communicating to a new audience, I will keep going back to that pattern, and I will keep making those mistakes, or I may just run away from it, or I may just not take up that opportunity. I may just stay in my comfort zone. So these are just small things I'm talking about, Anu, but there are many other roadblocks that people have. So when we reach at a stage when we are handling more than 500 to 1000 people at one go, sometimes we get into that imposter syndrome. Can I do it? I'm taking a global head Singapore role. Am I fit enough for it? Will people hear me, and why will they hear me? Do I actually have the skill set that they'll listen to me? These are some of the questions that pops in, and that's when they want a communication coach and not a trainer, because they, in those 15-20 years of their experience, they have already learned presentation skills. They know the vocabulary, they know the verbiage, they know the sentence structure, they know accent, they know everything. They know the nuances of the cross-cultural communication. They know the global world, right? But the problem is because they are not, they are somewhere not able to take that leap of faith because of the inner dialogue or whatever they've heard. So most of the times when we are trying to take that leap of faith is when your inner dialogue and self-talk comes in and says, hey, you know what, this is not meant for you, you're not supposed to do this. And that's when the people like that need coaches like us who help them through that process, not only help them through that process, but also help them find the hidden potential and say, you can be expressive, you still can be authentic. You don't have to change yourself for the different audience, right? You can be authentic self, vulnerable self, and still drive results, right? That's something that we are trying to bring through communication coaching. So I'm bringing in a lot of self-expression, empathy, compassion, vulnerability, and authenticity. But you still hold your food, you still have that authority. How do you still have an executive presence in spite of being vulnerable? Because a lot of people understand that vulnerability is that will be taken as a weakness, but that's not the truth. Vulnerability with authenticity and a bit of authority will still help you get your position. It will still get you that executive presence that you're looking forward to. So to answer your question, that's why executive coaching is slightly different, Anu. And most people who come to me for coaching, they typically come when they're taking up that kind of roles where they are moving up the ladder, or they're taking up positions that they're looking for competency based interviews. So they really need to up their game as to how do they answer, what is it that they've done for so many years. They've done so many things, but how do you communicate to the other person with authenticity that this is what I've done and this is the result of what I've done? Those are competency based interviews or strength based interviews. So those are a couple of things that people come up with. Also, people who want to become thought leaders, and then they want a different brand for themselves, right? So I'm not here talking about the scripts, but I'm more talking about how do you still create your branding? You become a thought leader by saying what you want to say, but saying it in a manner which is engaging, saying it in a manner which still keeps your authority intact, and saying it in a manner which still keeps your own identity intact. That's the idea. So these are three things that I typically look at when I talk about executive coaching.
Wonderful. Oh my God. The three things what you said, I think we need to follow this. I'll take this point, Sandhya. Maybe I need to take session with Sandhya later after finish the interview.
Thank you.
I just want to know that do you do any coaching for executives when, for the if they want to change their career? So now they want to be an executive coach. Do you have any training for them, or or you do you train the experienced person? How is it?
Yeah. So yes, I definitely have that, Anu. And the reason that came up was because, like I said, I moved consciously into senior level managers and above. But having said that, I do still know the needs of first level managers, new hires, and also middle level managers. I didn't want that section also to be in that confusion of training and coaching. And I during the pandemic is when I realized that there's a huge market out there. Not only market, it's a demand. A lot of people at that level also need communication coaching, and maybe not afford everyone. They can't afford an executive coach, but can they afford a normal communication coach who's looking only at leaders and managers as well, right? And that's when I thought, okay, how about I pass on the knowledge that I have for the last 10 to 12 years and train such people who are mentor rather such people who already been in the field of communication for long. They've been training, they've done accent training, they've done business communication, so they've worked in that field. And how can I mentor them so that they can do something similar like me, right? And still be kind of be the supply for the demand that I could see in the market. It's still there right now. So that's how I started the Executive Communication Coaching Certification Program, where anyone who has an experience of working as a communication trainer, soft skills trainer, English teacher, and you've been in the field for many years, you worked with the corporate world, preferably corporate world if you're planning to get into the corporate world, but there are people who have just gone into the confidence coaching bit from my certification. They're only dealing with school students. That could also be one of the area. But people who have those experience and have worked in the field of communication is who I'd love to onboard. And we do a thorough 8-week program followed by my mentorship, ensuring that we have peer-to-peer coaching. We also ensure that you have coaching hours, and we also ensure that you follow the exact coaching methodology, use all the tools possible. Not only do you evolve as a coach, but you as a human being, as a leader, but you're able to launch your business as well. That's the idea. So in the last 3 years, we've done at least 3 different batches, in fact, more than 3 batches, to ensure that we have these communication trainers or soft skills trainers who are planning to move into the field of communication or get into coaching specifically in the field of communication, you can join my program, and we have an 8-week hand-holding, proper, exhaustive program which will take you through not only the tools of communication, but how do you actually curate a proposal for the client and also launch your own business. So yeah, 3-step method that we look at.
Thank you, Sandhya. I just want to have a bit of clarification here. Now,
Yeah.
what would be the, like, what is the, do you have any eligibility criteria here? Let's take the freshers.
Hmm.
They want to shape up their career. So, do you think they can take this course?
I would not recommend freshers to take that course. Good question, Anu, because that's an inquiry we had last year as well from a lot of colleges across India, who children who have been,
Why I asked you is like I'm dealing with a couple of colleges.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I can just put a word to them. So I just want to know what are the criteria of the eligibility of this course.
So the criteria is very specific, 10+ years experience in the corporate or in schools or educational institutions. And there's a reason for it, because we are, looking at first initially, and at least we're looking at coaching the corporate world, right? The workplace. So if they are students, they've still not experienced workplace. But having said that, we do plan to get into the confidence coaching bit, the public coaching space, where there are students who have been in this field for 5 years and they've done pretty well for themselves. They are in the oration space. They are already a public speaker. We can mentor them, groom them to be communication coaches for that audience. So for the school audience. So that's something that we're looking at next step. But right now we wanted to focus only on workplace demand. And as per the workplace demand, we plan to churn out as many people as possible so that we are able to meet the demand which is there in the corporate world right now. But yes, you're right. The second step is to look at these students who have been in this field for 5 years. So maybe from graduation till their, post-graduation, they've been doing this and they've done pretty well. We would want them to be groomed, mentored, and coached so they can take up confidence coaching for school students. So that could be the second area that we look at.
Good. Because when we say executive coach, I mean, nowadays it's trend. Oh, I want to be a coach. I want to be a trainer. It's a coach.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
have the eligibility. I always have that. This coach
Fair.
for this. That's why I can be an executive coach. It's not that. Later students, I mean, if my viewers are students over here, so it is not applicable. I mean, you are not eligible for that. Probably, I think we have another course, this confidence building coach. Maybe that you can do it, or public speaking, which you all
Yeah.
are. Because we would be very, very honest. It's not about attracting the business here. It's all about giving our 100% service to you all. That is what we all coaches do here. Because everyone after the session, they will call me up. Ma'am, can I be a coach? Can I be a coach? Is a nice name, trendy. But what coach you want to do it be? That's what Sandhya said. This is right now the course what she has for 10+ years experience. And viewers, if you are here, if you are in a leadership position, or if you are an executive or a CEO, and if you want to feel, and if you feel that I need to improve my way of communicating, or if you feel that I'm not growing in that particular field, please interact with our Sandhya. No worries, I'll be sharing her contact details below her video. Do you have a Linktree account, Sandhya?
Yes, I do. Do you want me to share it here?
Yeah, I'll share it later. You can share me in WhatsApp. Probably I'll share it after the video.
Yeah, sure.
So before we wind up, we would take one advice from our guest speaker today. What advice would you like to give us?
That's a nice one.
Practically.
Practical tip I would say is for everyone. So I'm making a statement which is open to all women, children, and kids, and everyone out there. Be authentic the way you are. Even if you speak 4 words, that's fine. Even if you speak no word, but your body language is good enough and you're still having a pleasant demeanor, that's good enough. I think the whole fact that we are able to talk a lot more and we are an extrovert is the only kind of trend is something that I would take away from people. And I would say, do what you're doing, but speak your truth. Let no one tell you that what you are is not good enough. Let no one tell you, and let not anyone color your thoughts with that communication. Let it be whatever you say is your truth. Let it be like that. The only thing that we should be careful of is we're not hurting people when we say what we say. but it doesn't matter. You say 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, but all that matters is you should be true to what you're saying. That's all that I would say.
Your intention should be clear now.
Yeah.
Often becomes clear. That's it's not about hurting anyone yet. So probably you may think that no, I have no words. But what do you want to say? Rephrase it.
Yeah.
As far as your intention is very clear and the way you put across the words, I don't think people take it in the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because when you get into a leadership platform, it's not easy to manage the entire team. And you, the other side, you have a goal setting. Other side, you have your own commitments, the personal commitments. So
Hmm.
merge together, and that's the time the word slips from your mouth.
Yeah.
Happening. So it's not. It's okay. Even Sanya says that it's okay as far as you're authentic, what you say, and honest to yourself.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate intention behind this? Please give a big picture. Then
Yeah.
the audience can get you well. Isn't it, Adya?
Absolutely.
And so today we had a wonderful session. I don't know how the time it flew like this. I don't know. And I'm just watching now, it's 9:47. Sandhya given, I think she spoke everything deeper and deeper so that the audience were very clear. So now, viewers, what are you waiting for? For questions? Any questions, please fingers in the box and Sandhya will reply to you. And again, I repeat, every session I've been repeating it. Don't put the questions in my personal box. I don't hardly see it. Even today, I saw some questions and it's very difficult. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to mention the comment section. There's nothing like this question might look silly. I don't think it sounds good. Nothing of that. You have to be pretty open. And we are here to answer your questions. If you message me in person, personally, I'm 100%, I don't see it. I don't check the person. I request once again, all my viewers, thank you for watching so patiently, but put all your queries in the comment section and Sandhya will answer all your questions. Isn't Sandhya?
I would. I'd love to take those
Yes.
questions. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you so much. Mhm.
Yeah, as a coach, she's there to answer your questions. People think this question might look silly. How can I do it? No, there's nothing like silly or something like that. We just mentioned the question, whatever queries, the guest speakers, not only Sandhya, related to their particular topic, they are there to clarify all your doubts. The only request I was asking from the viewers. So with this, we come up with the end of the show, and I would like to thank our guest speaker from the bottom of my heart for being my guest today. Thank you.
Thank
Sandhya.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anuradha. Thank you. And I hope the audience really benefits. Please feel free to write to me whatever questions you have about communication. Just write whatever you feel like and ask me questions. I'd love to answer that. Thank you.
That's how your communication improves, my dear. The way you want, yeah. You say, I can't talk, I can't talk, I can't write. Try putting this kind of comment, some comment, not don't just say nice, awesome. Something bigger comment that sounds really good. I always tell to my audience, if you want to improve your communication, pass comments in the postings. And don't check that nobody's going to check your profiles over there. We just love to answer your question. That's it. That's one way of improving your communication. So
Yeah.
with this, I would like to end my show. And before I end my show, I would like to thank all my followers and the viewers and Sandhya's viewer too for watching us patiently and listening us without losing your temper. Though we spoke more, still we had a good content. I hope this video session, this live interview was quite useful. With this, I end the show and see you next week with another guest speaker with an amazing content. Until then, bye-bye. Good night. God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sandhya.